Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you my everyday makeup routine, which I usually wear when I'm going to school or now when I'm filming, seeing as it's summertime, and I don't usually wear too much makeup when I don't really have to be seen. So starting off, I'm taking my Maybelline Dream BB Cream in the shade Medium Deep, and I'm just going to pat that on my face and blend it outwards. Starting at the center of the face allows for the makeup to get sheer as it goes towards your neck and your hairline, and this allows for it to blend easier into your hairline, and that way you don't have the awful, I've heard them called tide marks near your neck where your face is a different color than your neck, and that's just awful and no one wants that. It's super important for your body and your neck to match up to your face. So as you can see, I blend it for quite a while because I find that this will sit on the skin and it will make me look slightly more orange if I don't blend it out really, really well. However, it leaves a great dewy finish, and that's what I love, especially in the summer. Moving on, I'm taking my Rimmel 2-in-1 concealer and highlighter, and this is in the shade Light Medium. And it has one of those like squeezy top things with a brush, and I find that the brush, if you use it to blend out, it's not the greatest, but it's great for application. So I apply that in a downward, like a V underneath my eyes, around my nose, and I don't have any blemishes right now, but if I did, I would actually use a heavier CoverGirl concealer. So right now I'm just searching for my concealer brush, which is in like a little jar in front of me, and just searching and searching, and I don't think I found it yet. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Found it. There it is. It is a Real Techniques domed crease brush, and it's meant for eyeshadow, but I find it perfect for concealer because it just gives you a really nice airbrush finish, and it blends the concealer out so it becomes lighter and it's not as heavy sitting underneath your eye. And right now I'm actually talking to my mom. She popped in while I was filming. Make some pretty crazy faces while applying that concealer. Now around my nose, because I find I get a little bit of redness around there, and I do have some veins near the side of my nose that I like to cover up. And then I blend it all out with my fingers because I find the warmth of my fingers will allow it to blend more into my foundation. Next, taking a Clinique powder brush, I'm taking my MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus foundation. This is in the shade C4. And I'm just going to dust that over my face. I'm not going to use a heavy application of it because I do like to keep the really dewy glow that the Maybelline BB cream gives me, but just to set my makeup and keep it lasting all day. I find that I really like it when my makeup goes on in the morning and then I never have to touch it. If I do have to touch it, there's a problem with it, and I'm probably not going to use that product again. Next, taking a fluffy face brush and going in with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzing powder, and this is in the shade Medium Deep Matte. And I'm just going to squeeze it and lightly contour my cheekbones, around my forehead, and down my jaw. Especially in the summertime, I find that it just gives me the lightest definition, but it also enhances a summer glow. This is a perfect concealer because it doesn't give you that muddy look, and it's not too orange. It's like a true brown, so you don't have to worry about looking like you just applied a whole bunch of bronzer that you bought at the drugstore for $1, or looking like you just badly applied your fake tan. It's great. It looks really natural. And it doesn't really look like it makes a difference, but I feel like it does. In the wintertime, I'll use like a denser angled brush to apply it, and that will give me a lot more definition. Moving on to my NARS bronzer. This is my favorite bronzer. It is like a peachy pink, and there's no wonder that it's a cult classic. So I'm just going to swipe that on a MAC blush brush and apply it in an upwards motion. Because I have more of a round square face, this contours my face nicely and it makes it appear slimmer and more angular. And I will bring it down a little bit and put it onto the apples of my cheeks to give me more of a healthy, fresh effect. Moving on, I have this highlighting stick, which I don't know where it's from, but it's great, and so I just apply that in one quick swipe on a downwards slant on tops of my cheekbones, and I'm just going to blend that out with my fingers because I find that the warmth of my fingers really blends it, and you don't have to worry about having a stripe of shimmer on your face, which is very, very noticeable, especially in the sunlight. Moving on to my Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is a little sample that came with the original Urban Decay Naked Palette, and I do have Urban Decay's primer potion in Eden, but I'm saving that for when I go to university and I'm poor and as well the yellow tint kind of looks slightly odd in the summer because I'm so much more tan. Most people I find usually go up 1 or 2 foundation shades in the summer and winter, and I've actually go up 4. So colors don't usually work for me in the winter and in the summer. It's like a whole new like makeup wardrobe kind of thing. Moving on to eyebrows. This is my eyebrow pencil in the shade Soft Black, and I'm just going to lightly pencil them in. I have quite thick eyebrows anyway, and they do have a nice natural shape, so I usually just touch up where I have little missing eyebrows, any sparse areas, and it just helps to define the shape. And it actually looks a lot better on camera and on film when you fill in your eyebrows, because sometimes, especially if you're blonde, they will kind of disappear in the flash or just in the picture. So filling them in just defines them, and it makes them appear better in photos. And again, I just run over with my fingers. Next, taking my Urban Decay Naked palette. I use this palette every single day. I adore it. I'm going to take the eyeshadow in Sin, and this is like a shimmery, champagne-y pink color. It works great in the winter as well as the summer, and I'm just going to take the flat eyeshadow brush that comes with this palette, and I'm going to apply that to my brow bone. Now I have deep set eyes, so my brow bone is a lot more prominent, and I do have quite a deep socket, so I apply a shimmery brush up top just underneath my eyebrows, but not onto necessarily the brow bone itself, because shimmer brings attention to things, whereas matte recedes. So what you'll see in a second is I'll actually put a matte shade on my brow bone to recede it and then bring out the rest of my eyes. I also apply Sin into the inner corner. I really like the look of having like a dark eyeliner and then a really light inner corner. I find that's just very flattering on my brown eyes. Taking another flat brush, I'm going in with Sidecar. This is just like a shimmery taupe. I really like shimmery neutrals for my eyes, especially because I do have brown eyes. Sometimes they're more hazel, but usually they're brown. This really just brings them out, and the gold undertones bring out the slightly more goldy flecks in my eye. So I just apply that all over my eyelid, not bringing it up into the crease or anything, just strictly on my eyelid. And I just pat that on. I'm very careful with my eyeshadow. I like it specifically placed in very specific areas. I don't like it when it goes everywhere. I'm very, almost, I would say, like astringent with it. Like I place it where it goes and it needs to stay there. Taking an Urban Decay crease brush, which came with the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette, I'm going in with a Buck, which is a matte medium brown. And this is the trick that I was telling you about. So if you have hooded eyes, or if you have deep set eyes like myself, you take a matte eyeshadow and you apply it into the crease, but then what you do is you drag it up slightly up onto your brow bone, and this will recede your brow bone, and it will cause your eyes to look slightly less hooded and less deep set, and it won't draw attention to your very prominent brow bone. It's just a really neat trick that I learned from watching YouTube videos, really, and this is also a great trick as you're getting older, because your eyebrow will kind of fall a little teensy-weensy bit, and so this is a great trick to learn, really. Next, going in with Buck on the other side of that brush, which is just a flat liner brush, I'm going to apply it underneath my lash line. Now this will pretty much act as my eyeliner underneath. I don't like to use a pencil directly on the bottom lash line because I am going to line my waterlines, and I find that looks a little bit too harsh, and because I don't have very large round eyes, it will make my eyes appear smaller, and it's just a bit too harsh, especially for school or just every day. Next, taking the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil in Hot Chocolate, which is just a dark matte brown. It's one of those retractable ones, which are great, especially for the waterline. I'm just going to apply that to my upper and lower waterline. And as you'll see, I am so meticulous with this. It is literally going to take me like a minute to just perfect my eyeliner. I like it so specific. So I especially bring it into the inner corners of my eye, and I also focus on the outer half of my lower waterline. I don't like bringing it directly into the inner corner of my eye on the bottom, because I find that'll really close up my eye, but having that small little space of waterline that doesn't have eyeliner on it just keeps my eye open, but having a eyeliner on my waterline I find intensifies my eyes. And I think that's great if you have dark brown eyes like I do. If you have blue eyes and you're more blonde, it might be a bit too harsh for you. And tip about eyeliner while I'm meticulously putting mine on, if you are blonde or you're a redhead or you're slightly more fair, brown eyeliner and mascara is the way to go. Don't go with black. Black is a lot harsher and it doesn't look natural and it stands out like too much, not in a good way. But if you're darker like I am, black will work for you, just because of your hair color and your eye color. But black, generally, if you're older or if you're blonde or fair, it's not the way to go. Definitely not. And it's one of my pet peeves. So moving on, since I finally applied that, we are going on to eyelash curling, which will also take me forever because I like to get every single little eyelash all curled. And these pink eyelash curlers are from Quo, which is a Canadian brand. I don't think you can get it anywhere. You might be able to get it in the UK, but I'm not quite sure. You definitely can't get it in the States, unfortunately. But they're great. I've had them for a while, and they come with like an extra rubber eyelash curler thingy that you put in it, so once this one kicks the bucket, I'll just replace it with the other one, which is great. The last eyelash curler I had broke, like the entire handle came off, and it was a horrible moment. Next, taking my Sephora mirror, I'm going to apply my mascara. I like to use a closer mirror for mascara because I like to get every single lash, and I have quite long eyelashes anyway, so I like to use a volumizing mascara, and this is the Maybelline Big Eyes The Falsies, and has a great wand which is slightly angled as it goes around, like it's not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical. And so I like to apply a couple of coats of this to my top lashes. And I don't know if anyone else can do it, but sometimes I'm able to put my mascara on with my mouth closed, and other times I just can't. But I know some people, it's utterly impossible for them to put on mascara while their mouth is closed. I don't know if it's just a weird scientific thing, but sometimes I can do it and sometimes I can't. And today I just didn't really care at this point. But as you'll see, I'm going to take the little wand and stick it back into the cap, which is where all the mascara is, and I'm going to apply another coat because I like to have really volumized lashes. I don't need it to be really long, like that's not something that I really like, but I like them to be volumized. Another thing with having a deep set eyes or hooded eyes is sometimes if you get an odd mascara, they'll transfer up onto your brow bone. That's just never fun. It's not a good look. I find sometimes it's just because they're not waterproof or whatnot, but there's a couple that I've used that have actually transferred up onto my brow bone. And next, taking the other side, I'm just going to apply that to my lower lash line. I really like that this is dual-ended and it has one for the top and one for the bottom because it is the bane of my existence trying to put mascara on my bottom lashes and just getting it everywhere, which is really rather annoying, especially if you are wearing eyeliner on the bottom and you just worked so hard on it and then you have to wipe it off. Next, moving on to lipstick. This is Revlon's lipstick and it's in the shade Blushing Mauve. And this is my favorite lipstick. I wear it all year round. In the wintertime, it looks a lot darker and it's more of a mauve color really, whereas in the summertime, I find it turns into more of like a pink shade, and I love it because it makes my lips appear really full, and it's only slightly darker or lighter, depending on the time, than my natural lip color. So I find it's a really great color for me. It suits my cool undertones, and it's more of like a berry shade. So I touch it up again with my fingers, and that's it. So as you can see, it's very dewy and fresh, and really the only intense part is my eyes. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.